I wanted to talk about the case study Lucy and a little bit about class this week. You will be having students in your class that have intellectual disabilities, and one thing, even for you elementary teachers, that I wanted to stress is there's something through the federal government. Every state is different, and even every county. Here in like our area, it's called Community Health Corps. I know in Tyler, it's called the Andrews Center. What that is called HCS. Medicaid services, and what that is for any child that has a disability when they turn 18, there's federally funded programs out there for the student. Now, the reason I'm telling elementary teachers is because the waiting list for all of these services is 12 to 14 years. So it's very vital if you have a child that may need some services as respite care when they turn 18, may need day hab services, might want to live in a community home. Parents may need some outside medical. It is vital to get these students on these lists. They're called the HCS lists. Now for Lucy, I'm going to try and remember everything that was in the case study. This is something actually that is one of my specialties. Most of the elementary teachers will not be dealing with this type, but it's still good information to know. Y'all are correct that when she turned 18, she's considered a legal adult in the education world in the state of Texas. What the parents would have to have done is gone through court, usually about age 16, and got guardianship. What guardianship means is that the person has no rights any longer in the state of Texas, and we're talking can't get married, cannot vote, cannot have a bank account, cannot make any decisions. So actually guardianship is sort of difficult to get on a student unless they are very impaired. There's other ways that they can get support. They're called supported decision-making people. A lot of parents will go that route because it doesn't take a lawyer. And students can have their parents help them with money, help them with housing, be able to get a medical care. But for Lucy, since she was 18 and her father was not in the picture, she did have to do everything on her own. Now, one thing I would have done is found out that when she was living in a homeless shelter, because she is a student with an intellectual disability, I would have probably gotten Adult Protective Services involved. What they could have done is they could have gotten her out of that homeless shelter and probably into a community living home, where actually that's probably where she needs to end up anyway, since she doesn't have any support. But what else they would do is they would have gotten her a caseworker. Here, if she had lived in the Longview area, it would have been through Community Health Corps. And Community Health Corps would have been part of the team that came to school to help her decide on living arrangements, food, transportation in the area. We would have gotten Texas Workforce Commission, which some of you mentioned would have been involved with her. One thing that I wanted to stress is students with intellectual disabilities can function very well as an adult. Some of you put about her going to a technical college or a 2-year junior college. Usually that is very rare for a student with ID. Most of the time their reading levels, even a strong ID student that has sort of a higher ID IQ, like let's say 70 or 72, doesn't read at the level that you need to for college. So the working in a vet's office, maybe behind the scenes would have been a good thing for her. I don't think she could have completed a vet tech program. Too much technical and math and science in that, even though it is just a technician program for a student who has ID. I also noticed some of her classes. A jewelry making class probably wasn't real functional for her. What would have been better is to have had some type of cooking class. Every school district is different in the way that they offer their career technology education classes and what they call transition programs. I can give you an example. We have one, Tyler ISD has something called the LINK program, which their 18 to 22-year-old students go to. It's actually housed at TJC campus, and they go there to get skills for work. Even some of our high autistic students went through LINK to get support just to start at college. A lot of schools do things in-house. They're not off-site. And it's for the students that are 18 to 22. They get them out in the community. They do different work site jobs, work-based learning. They do daily living skills. They do shopping. There's all kinds of different things. I would have probably think that Lucy would have been in this type of program maybe for 1 year to help her transition into the workforce, where the school could have supported her with Texas Workforce in that type of position. Something else that Texas offers that is different than other states is the art committee can decide that the student does not have to pass their state exam, just participate in it. So for her to have to keep trying to retake in the state of Texas, that could have been decided in an art committee, and she would not have to have done that for graduation. Something else that you want to seem to notice, that there was a lot of responsibility put on the special education teacher at the high school level. A lot of school districts have what they call transition specialists. This seems to be getting more prevalent because of state legislature in the area of transition. So a lot of districts will have those individuals who really come in and support and are very knowledgeable about services outside of the school district. A lot of school districts have your educational diagnostician who does it. And they're also very knowledgeable and be a good place to go if you would have any questions now on like how to get the student, how to tell parents about the HCS that's at your school. Your transition specialist or educational diagnostician at the high school level would know that. Your diagnostician for the elementary may not know that because it's something that they don't deal with regularly. Do let me know if you have any questions during the class. There's been some good discussions about inclusion. That is a very hot topic right now in all of the research. If it's being beneficial, if it should go full or part, if we should go back to a resource model. Actually, one of the models I like is actually RTI. If RTI is done correctly, it can benefit every single student and not just special education students. So have a good rest of the week. Thank you.